Okay, so it is recorded. So welcome, Rachel, and welcome, Crystalline, and welcome, Armando. And hopefully we'll get some more because, again, I have 60 on my roster, and so I should have a third or so. Usually I do it on Sundays because people can make it on Sundays. Most people don't work on Sundays. Some do. That's why I let Sunday morning is a time that a lot of people can make it. So my guess is we'll have some coming in a little bit, and then I'll pop in there the fact that they attended. So my name is Larry Green, and this is the elementary statistics class online. And let me ask you, and again, you can either say it or pop it in the chat box, you choose. Is this your first online class, or have you taken other online classes before? To get an idea, at least for the three of you, what you're getting into. So Armando, Crystalline, Rachel? First online, taken others, taken many. They were great. Okay, great. So this is, so we're all over the place on this one. So if it's your first, that's fine. I'm here for you. That's the most important thing. And if you've taken many, then I hope I live up to your expectations. If you've taken many, you may not have done a lot of webinars. So if you've taken many, then you may not have done with webinars, you may have done with webinars. But I like to include webinars because I find that's my way to interact with you guys. You can ask questions on the spot and get immediate answers, whereas you can't do that with non-webinar based online classes. I also don't just have online webinars, but there's also videos and texts and discussions and all kinds of other things, which we'll see that as things go. So the plan today is to make it so that all of you have a really good idea of what you need to do to succeed in this class. This class does take a lot of work, but if you do the work, most students make it. I just got a text. I'll need to be walked through it. Uh-oh, someone's having trouble getting in, and I don't have time to walk them through getting in when I'm doing this with you, so hopefully they can do it tomorrow. So anyhow, that's the plan, and what we're in now, we're in the webinar room. This is not Canvas, by the way. This is Zoom, and Zoom is basically it's a webinar. It's kind of like Skype. It's just a webinar tool that the state of California purchased the license to. So I have the ability to use it. None of us have to pay any money, which is always good. That all comes from our taxes. So I guess we pay, but in a very indirect way. So the good thing is that all of the webinars will all be on Zoom. And that link that you use to get into this will work for every webinar I do. And I'll go through that a little bit more. So I want to let you know the whole point of this is for you to be able to ask questions so that I can answer them on the fly instead of you having to wait 6 hours, or however long it takes for me to get back to you. So this is your chance. So please ask questions if there's anything that you don't understand or you're curious about, or you just want to know, hey, what about this? That's your chance. And again, you can talk or you can type in the chat box. Either way, I'll be able to answer your questions. I have one eye on the main screen and one eye in the chat window the whole time. So any questions before I show you the Canvas site and go into kind of more of the details of this course? Any questions? Okay, so let me leave Zoom, and I'm going to do what's called share my desktop, which means you're going to be able to see what I'm looking at on my screen. So this is the Canvas site. Okay, we have a new student. So Kaylee Gayton, I just want to make sure you're logged in and counted. So just a second. FGGG. Gotcha. Percent and Gayton. Gotcha. Good. Kaylee, I just got you. Welcome. And I just have you on the roster. Just to let you know, Kaylee, this is recorded. So it is going to be on the on YouTube. But I think that until the end, your picture won't show on YouTube anyway. But let you know that it is public. No one cares. We all think that, you know, someone really cares, but no one that cares that much to watch this whole thing to find out. Okay, so this is the Canvas site. And you should all be able to get into the Canvas site. There's a few ways of getting into the Canvas site. One way is through Passport. So if you go to Lake Tahoe Community College's website, you go to log into Passport, and you go to Canvas, and you go to the class, you'll get here. This week, this will be the first page that you see. I like to have a little welcome page to start so that you get to see me, I guess. You're looking at our college. Let me ask you, and put in the chat box for those of you who are there. Let me find it. Come on, chat window. Let me ask you, do you have in terms of, have you been to Lake Tahoe Community College? Where do you live? Do you live in Tahoe or do you live somewhere else? And you can tell me where. You don't have to give me your address or anything, but Southern California, no one's going to find you there, or LA or Riverside or wherever it might be. So why don't you put in the chat box where you are, so at least for those of you who are here, I can get an idea of kind of who I'm talking to. And I'm not seeing anyone's answer. It doesn't mean it's not there. I'm having trouble looking at the chat box today. I don't see it. Okay, well, let me just keep talking then. So this is the home page. There are some really important things you need to know about Canvas. The first is the very top in the middle is going to be the most recent announcement that was given. So you'll notice the most recent announcement that was given was the online statistics webinar in an hour, and that was given a little more than an hour ago, as you might guess. So that's good to know. If you click that, then that'll take you to the announcement. That announcement also gets sent to your college email, your LTCC email, which if you want, you can forward it to your text or to your own personal email, whatever you want, but that will get sent to the email so that you get those announcements. And I'm going to send announcements often. So usually, just about 3 times a week at least, I'll be sending an announcement. Just to remind you that an assignment is due or webinar's coming up or whatever's going on that week. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you is if you look on the kind of left pane, you got home. We have this modules button, which I'll show you in a bit, but that's going to be the button to look at. Then you have discussions. That'll be important too. Announcements, grades to find out your grades are. Right now you have no grades because you haven't done anything yet. We just started. And the syllabus. And technically this class starts tomorrow, but what I've learned is that some people can only make a webinar on Sunday. That's why I always give a Sunday webinar. I repeat this webinar twice tomorrow. The 4 of you definitely don't need to come to it because it's the same thing. Then there's the syllabus, and that's the main thing for right now because I want to take you through the syllabus. If you click on that, that'll take you to the syllabus. So I want to go through the syllabus, kind of talk to you about some of the details. So first, this is Math 201. It's online elementary statistics and probability. My number one priority for this class in terms of designing the class is to make sure it transfers. So the good news is that in terms of transferring as the general education statistics class for the undergraduates, okay, not any specific majors, but the general education statistics class, I have never had it not transfer. So that's the good news. This transfers, okay? If you're a graduate student and you need statistics, this may not work for you because you may need graduate statistics. But for your undergraduate elementary statistics class, this works. So that's the good news. Okay, if you want to find out if it works for some very specific category, like you're getting your master's in business or something, then you need to talk to our counselor, and our counselor can kind of help you find out whether it works, or talk to the university you're going to, and that happens. Most of the students in this class typically are true community college students, but I do get people from universities that are taking this while they're at the university. So Again, you can talk to your people to find out for your specific university, but it transfers. It's 5 units, and it's quarter units. So most of you that aren't from Tahoe are probably at the semester system. And just note, in a quarter lasts 12 weeks, not 16 or 18 weeks. So we go faster. And that could be a little harder, but then it's over faster. That's the good news. So there's a lot to do each week, and then it's done. So just to let you know, expect to work a lot of hours every week, usually 10 to 15 hours a week. It all depends on the person, though. Some people need 20, some people need 8, but you can't do this on a half an hour a week. It's never going to happen in terms of making it. So you got to make sure that you have the time scheduled in your calendar to be able to make this this class go. My name is Larry Green. I like to be called by my first name, but if you call me by last name, that's fine too, whatever you want. You can say, hey, you, and I'll still answer. I have been teaching for 25 years.
I'm on a conference call with Lake Tahoe.
So probably longer than many of you have even lived. Tina Brooks, I just noticed that you showed up. Let me look. I'm just looking at the roster, make sure I get everyone in. So Tina Brooks, I'm gonna find you. There you go. Good. You're registered in. Now, I've been teaching for 25 years, and I've been teaching online statistics for over a decade. So I'm kind of a major statistics instructor. I'm the stats person at the college. There's one other that teaches stats, but in terms of online stats, I'm the only full-time instructor that teaches online stats at our college. I'm also, I do a lot of Leading California. I am the reviewer for online courses, one of the many reviewers for online courses for the state of California. So I do a lot of that kind of stuff too. So I get to learn from other people about how to make a good online class. And I do my best. If you ever have suggestions, give me those suggestions. That'd be great. My office phone number is right here, 544-4660, extension 341. That's area code 530, which is our community's area code. I'm not at my phone all the time, not at my phone that much, just to let you know. So the phone will work if I'm in my office hours. If I'm not in my office hours, then all bets are off. Good chance you won't get a hold of me. But I will get back to you if you call that. Even though I texted some of you on to tell you about this particular webinar, I don't use my smartphone very often. I'm not like a millennial where I sit there like this, like 99% of my life. This stays away from me. Yesterday I was offline all day. When I'm teaching, I don't take my phone with me. So just to let you know, one of the worst ways of contacting me is cell phone, because I don't use it that much. The best way is by email, and you could either email me by hitting the inbox and then send me a message, or you can email me by direct, drlarrygreen@gmail.com. The way it gets to me, I will promise that I will get back to you within a day, okay, unless I tell you ahead of time that it would be more than a day, and my guess is that won't happen this quarter. Okay, there's a chance. In the spring, sometimes I go backpacking and then I'm offline for a couple days. But this quarter, I doubt that there'll be any issue with me ever getting back to you within a day. I usually get back within a few hours. I am a night owl. I'm an early riser. So if you send me an email or any message at 9:30 p.m., you're gonna have to wait until 5 in the morning for me to get back to you. I do wake up really early in the morning, and I'll get back to you. Let me mute you all so that we don't have reverberation, if that's okay. But if you want to talk, feel free to unmute yourself and then ask me a question. And please ask questions, by the way. Okay, so anyhow, that's my contact information. That's the best way to get in contact with me. The other way, I think I'll just show you that right now. If you go to discussions, if you go to the Q&A forum, right now there's nothing there. If you hit reply, then you type in a question, and I'll be checking this every day too. I'm going to cancel it because I don't have a question to ask you right now. And that's a great way to ask me questions. Another way to ask me questions is, instead of the Q&A forum, the Project One discussion forum, if it's a question about the project. There are so many questions about the project, I specifically have a forum about that. We'll get to that in a bit. So let me go back to the syllabus. So there are live lectures and office hours, webinars. I do live lectures every week, but orientation is required that you actually attend the orientation live. On the other hand, the other weekly ones, it's strongly recommended but not required. But either way, the link is the same as what you did to get in here. So that link will always work throughout the entire quarter. That's the good news. And same thing, if some people like to call me on the phone, some people like to email, but we can also Zoom. We can talk in private. So in other words, I won't be sending it on YouTube or anything. And that way we can see each other and we can chat, and you can see my desktop, or I can see your desktop if we want to share it. And I can help you out that way also. So it's a more interactive multimedia way for us to communicate. Since this is on online class, I try to do everything I can to make sure that we have the best ways to communicate with each other in an online format. Okay? You can come to my office, but you don't have to. You never, ever have to come to Lake Tahoe to succeed in this class. On the other hand, Lake Tahoe, I think, is the most beautiful place in the world. So if you've never been to Lake Tahoe, I strongly encourage you, even after this class, go and visit our lake, because it is absolutely beautiful. And those who know Lake Tahoe probably would agree. Maybe not the most beautiful, but I think so. So you're welcome to come and visit. I have a lot of YouTube lectures. So in particular, I have full-length YouTube lectures. Let me click that. And there are 13 chapters in the textbook. So what I did is I created a YouTube lecture for each of the 13 chapters. And if you click the link that I just showed you, you can go to those very easily. And there's other ways of getting to them. So I recommend watching the lectures each week. Okay, I don't like take some kind of role on watching these lectures, unlike the webinars. Webinars, there's an interesting role. I'll tell you about that a little bit. But these lectures you watch is a great way to get information. Watch the whole thing. Some of them are pretty long. Like this chapter 1 is 52 minutes. I think there's one's over an hour. Maybe 2 of them. Yeah, there's 2 of them over an hour. Some are a bit shorter, but they're a bit longer. So let me go back. I also created introductory lectures for each week. And those are better done probably from the modules. Those are like 1 or 2, like 2 minutes to kind of just give you what's going on for the week. A little short lecture. I also have videos of worked out examples. All these are on YouTube. And those are going to happen mostly when you're doing the homework and you're stuck on a problem. You click on watch the video, and then it'll show you a video that's similar to the question that you're working on. Uh-oh. I'm getting emails. I'm getting texts from people that can't figure out how to get in. I might give it a pause for a moment so I can re-answer the text. Let me see something. No, not there. I want to see if anyone emailed me, and then I can send the link easily. Text links are harder for me. They're long and messy. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, I also have interactive applets. I'll show you those when it's time to study for the midterm and the final. And those will help you practice. They're practice applets. I am a programmer also. I'm a heavy coder. So I've coded all kinds of stuff for statistics. Okay, the textbook is free. Okay, I'm a big advocate of what's called the OER movement, which is the Open Educational Resources. And that means that you really don't have anything to pay for in this class except possibly tuition, if you're not a promised student or if you don't have some tuition scholarship. And the other thing, which I'll talk about in a minute, is a calculator. So in terms of cost, that's it. Okay, the cost of this class is a lot of time. You can spend a lot of time in this class. But in terms of money, that I really believe in making it free. So hopefully you enjoy that. You can get a printed version. You could either go to get this book. I'll show you. Here's a link to the book. So there's a link. If you want a printed version, most people don't in an online class. Most people are fine in an online class to not have to print out a book. But if you need to, you can do that. You go get this book and you can pay for it. But there's no need to. If you go to contents, so for example, if you want to read the first section of chapter 1, you can go 1.1. And there's chapter 1. And I do strongly recommend you read the book as we go through. Each week we'll have 1 or 2 chapters. There are 13 chapters and there's only 11 regular weeks of the class. So that means some of the weeks have 2 chapters. The first week does because the first stuff is introductory. Let me see. If you don't mind, I'm going to go and I'm going to, there's someone having trouble. Actually 2. So I'm going to send a link to this so this person can get in. Sorry about that. But the person's having trouble getting in and I want to help the person. So it's one of our students. Now I gotta get that link, which is the easiest way of getting link is through the announcements. And I gotta type it, it's long, sorry. Just a minute. Yeah, I'll have it. CCC. CCCCONFER. So again, this is the link. .zoom. .us. /J. I apologize for this, but I want to help the students get into the webinar. /57626 57626 3400. Whoops. Fortunately, I can't copy and paste because it's hidden link. So one more time with one other person. Sorry about this, but I'm just trying to make sure everyone can do it. All right, CCC. .zoom. .us. /J. /57626. 57626 3400. Okay, sorry about that. But I just wanted to help the students who are having trouble getting in. They're trying to go through Canvas, which may not work. They have to go to the link. Any new people? No. Okay, any questions so far? All right, so let me go back and get back to the syllabus. So we now know about the book and all the different materials and stuff that you need. And again, strong recommendation that you read the book as we go and that you watch the videos. It's required that you watch the webinars. Actually do check on that, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And I think it's helpful for most people to at least either read the book, or watch the webinar. before I watch the video before you go to the webinar, because that way you'll be able to ask questions about the topic. So it helps to do that. It's an hour or so of doing that, and then you go to the webinar, and then you'll really get it much deeper. I'm going to skip the course description and student learning outcomes. I'll let you read through that. Prereq, I'll let you read through that. My grading policy is 90, 80, 70, 60, very standard. In terms of what you're graded on, we're going to have online assignments. Sometimes you call those homework assignments, but with online, everything's homework, right? Because everything's at home or wherever you are. There are going to be online discussions, which we'll see in a minute. There's going to be a proctored midterm. There will be 2 group projects and a proctored final exam. And this is the breakdown of the grades. Okay, and this is non-negotiable. This is the breakdown period. So let me talk about the exam, because for a lot of people that could be the hardest part. Okay, so first thing is the exams are proctored. They're paper and pencil exams, and you are allowed to bring a note card, a 3-inch by 5-inch note card. You could put anything you want on that note card. I do not believe in making this class a class about have you memorized everything, because I don't think that's that useful, because 3 months after the class is over, you won't remember anything. So what I do is all the formulas that you have to memorize or whatever, instead of that, put them on your note card, okay, or whatever stuff you need besides that, put it on your note card. And then you get to take that. The other thing you're going to have to take to the midterm and the final will be your calculator. That's important. And then I probably don't have to say this, but pencil or pen, because it's pretty hard to take a test without a pencil or pen if it's a paper and pencil test. So that's important too. Also, as I mentioned, the proctoring, a lot of people don't exactly know what proctoring means. That means you have to go to an official proctor or somebody that I approve. So official proctors, the 2 most common official proctors that students use are college proctor centers or testing centers. So we have a testing center at Lake Tahoe Community College in our library. You go in there, it's absolutely free in our Lake Tahoe Community College library. You reserve it ahead of time, and then you come in, they hand you the test, you take the test, and they scan it in or take a picture of it and send it to me. And that works great. Most of you probably have a college that isn't so far from you, and you can take it, you can do the same thing there. Sometimes the college will charge you money, sorry about that, if the proctoring is, if you're not their student especially. Okay, even if you are, sometimes they charge you money. Our college, it's free. If you come to our college, it's free. Your college, it might cost you money. The number 2 place that people take the test is at your local public library. So everywhere in the world, in the country, has a public library. And it's one of the wonderful things about America is we have libraries. I think we can thank Ben Franklin for that, because I think he's the one that came up with the library idea. And most of the libraries, not all, but most of the libraries offer proctor services, and most of those are free, which is nice. So you can go in and take it there. Another place that gets a little expensive is a tutoring center. So these are usually for kids, but they're there to make money. So if you come in and say, can you proctor a statistics test for me on this date? They'll usually say yes, and they'll charge you some money. And you're responsible for the money if they charge you. So that's another place. Another one that's always okay with me is that if you are serving in our military, you are welcome to ask your commanding officer to proctor it for you, and that is always okay with me. I'm never going to say no to your commanding officer. In fact, last quarter, I actually had 4 different countries represented because of, mostly because of military. People were, I had one in Afghanistan. That'd be really tough, but the person was in Afghanistan. The person did fine in the class. I would hate to be in Afghanistan. I thank that person for serving for us, but it'd be tough. So the person took the entire class in Afghanistan. You do not have to be in Tahoe to succeed in this class to make it. You just have to be able to find a proctor. And so there's two proctor tests. There's the midterm and there is a final. Most people take each of those two tests with the same proctor, but you are allowed to use a different proctor. You just have to let me know. I will always research to make sure that the person's truly official. So I have a test information quiz that's a week before the test, and you fill that out, and then what I do is I research to make sure the person really is an official, and then I send the test. So that's how the tests work, and the tests are, as you can see, 20% and 30% of the grade, so half of the grade are these two tests. You need to take them very seriously. You want to study a lot of hours. And when I say study, you want to practice a lot of hours to succeed on these tests because they are absolutely important. I will be very, very clear about what the test is going to look like. Not every word, but the idea of each problem, actually. So you'll know what you're getting into. And the key is practice problems like the ones I showed you, and then you'll do just fine. But practice and get good at them, of course, and get help when you need to. Any questions? That's usually the hardest part for people to get in an online, especially math class where there's proctored tests. If you can't find a proctor for some reason, so you might be in a small town or something, then I will work with you and we'll get a proctor for you. Sometimes that might be someone who, if you can't get to the proctor center at your college, maybe we'll get some professor at your college to be able to do it for you, individually, and I can work with that person. Okay, sometimes I use teachers. There's different people I can do. Okay, I even had a student that was working on a cruise ship the whole time. She was never in, that's funny, she was never in a country the entire class because she was sitting on a cruise ship the whole time. And I had the cruise ship's minister proctor for her, and that worked just fine. And she passed the class. She did great. So again, we'll get creative. We'll get creative. Any questions? Oh, we got a new student. So welcome, Letitia. Just to let you know, most people are okay with it, but this is recorded on YouTube.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. And important for you because you're coming in late, right?
Yes, you have another one tomorrow, right?
Yeah, or this will be recorded. If you want to watch the first half hour of it, you can do that online too. I've got you registered as coming.
Okay.
As soon as I write your name, I do. Were you one of those that I just text saying come in this way or not?
Pardon me?
Did I text a few people saying?
Okay, you did text me.
Okay, so you're one of those. Okay, just was seeing if it works. So I'm glad because I spent a couple minutes getting that text out, so I wasted other people's time, but it was worth it because I made sure you got in. Okay, so any questions at all on the exam policy?
I have a question.
Sure, Tina.
I'm in an extremely small town, but I happen to work at a prison, and I'm wondering whether or not the prison principal of the school that's offered at the prison has the ability to proctor.
That'll work great.
Okay.
That'll work great. As long as I can verify that the person does work at the prison. Does that make sense? So I'll call the prison general person and say, does this person work? And as long as the person says, yes, the person is a prison person, then I'll make that work. Sound
Perfect.
good?
Yeah, that
Great.
makes sense. Thank you.
Great. You'll just have to give me that person's contact information so that I can send the test. Person
Yeah,
has
I'll
to have
probably talk to them about it first, though.
Yeah, the person has to have email and a printer because they have to print out the test for you. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And the person has to have a smartphone works. All they do is take a picture of each of the pages of the test, send it to me, and that's fine too. Or a scanner or something, some way to get me a picture of the test when you're done, because I have to be able to grade it, obviously. But yeah, that'll work. Like I said, I'm flexible. I'll make it work for you as long as it's an official person. Okay, for everybody, by the way. Okay, let me move on. Let's talk about the assignments. So there are going to be assignments. The regular assignments are going to be due on Sunday night. Okay, I like to really think they're due on Friday night. So you should have your goal finishing by Friday, and then if you need a little more time, spend a couple days on the weekend and finish it off. If by Friday you find out you're not going to be able to finish it by Sunday, you can ask me for an extension. But if the extension is not asked by Friday, I won't grant it. Because again, I expect you to be working at it and try to go through the week. By Friday, have it done, or no, you're not going to make it. I don't like last minute, you started at 11:55 on Sunday, and then you're going to ask me for an extension. Forget it. So you need to ask me if there's an extension needed. It has to be asked by Friday. Any questions on that? Okay. There's also an online exam, which is a pretty significant part of these assignment grades, and that's due on the 20th. I'll talk about that later on, and that covers chapters 1 through 6. Okay. Any questions about those? And I'll show you what they look like in a bit. All right, the discussions. Each week, you're going to have to complete a discussion assignment. This week, there's 2 of them because there's one that's just a fun get-to-know-each-other one, and there's one serious one. I'll show you those in a little bit, but the dates are important. You must send your initial post by Thursday, and you must do your reply by Sunday. So the idea is if you waited until Sunday to do your initial post, no one can reply to you because it's too late. So you have to do it ahead of time. If you do your initial post by Wednesday, okay, I always reward people who are not procrastinators. So if you can do the assignment by Wednesday, I will look at it. And if it needs any revision or does not work, if you're going to lose any points, then I will reply to your post and say, here's what you need to do. So that's a guarantee. If you do it on Thursday, then I won't do that. Then you might lose some points. Okay? Although you still could get 100% if it's done by Thursday as long as it's right. But the idea is if it's not right and it's done on Wednesday or Tuesday, then I'll help you out. And then you don't have to lose points. Just one more thing about the assignments. I strongly recommend you get at least 90% on every assignment. You can redo every problem as many times as you want. So there's no excuse for not getting at least 90%, because if you can't do one of the problems and you've tried it 3 times and it still is wrong, you post on the Q&A forum saying, help me with this, and I'll help you with it. Okay, so everyone should get at least 90% on the assignment. If you get 99, be happy about it. Don't stress. That's good. You don't have to get 100%, but you should get at least 90%. Those who get at least 90%, statistically, and there's a stats class, do really well in this class. So that's just a big note. Okay. A couple things about the discussions posts. Well, I think I'll tell you in a bit when we get to the discussions. That's probably a better way. The live webinars are every week. They are required to watch, but not to watch live. Only the orientation is you have to watch it live. So, but if you don't watch it live, then you have until Sunday to watch it on YouTube. And I will post it after I have produced it. Obviously, I can't post it before we've had it because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't exist. So we'll get there. In fact, this will get posted today, probably a couple hours after it's done. It takes a while for it to save and stuff like that on YouTube. But it'll get posted today, and then you can rewatch this if you want. Now, the orientation is required to watch live. The webinars are recommended to watch live, but you can watch it on YouTube. You must watch it by Sunday of that week. I always give it on Monday and Tuesday. Monday or Tuesday. I tend to go back and forth so that I don't, usually in the evening, unless there's special requests. I could do that too. If you wanted lunchtime, I can do that. The rule is if you give me a special request, if you say I want it Monday at lunch, and I do it Monday at lunch, you have to be there. You can't request it and then not show up. And be there meaning log in. So if you watch on YouTube, that's great. If you attend in live, that's even better. If you miss it for the whole week, then you can watch it, but you have to take detailed notes, and I will expect a 5 pages of notes emailed to me, or you get a 5% penalty for the course grade. So basically, it's very severe penalty. So you need to watch every webinar, okay? They're typically about an hour. Sometimes they're a little longer for the regular webinars. Okay, there are projects. There are 2 projects for the class, and I'm not going to get into all the details, but you must work in groups. I strongly recommend groups of 3. So find 2 other people to work with. If you can't do 2 other people, you could be a group of 2, but you have to be a group. Right now, what you can do, and I strongly recommend this today, is go to Canvas. So let me show you. If you go to discussions, and you go to the Project 1 discussion forum, I would hit reply, and I would say, I'm looking for a partner. Maybe you might say, like to work on it early and get it all done well before the deadline. Or maybe you're a procrastinator and you're going to say, I want to do last minute. Procrastinators do not work well with non-procrastinators. They kill each other. So make sure that you're on the same timeline. There's an online class. I expect you to be able to communicate in an online environment. You are welcome to work face-to-face on the project if you happen to find someone in your city, but it's an absolute not requirement. If you are sitting in a small town with no one else in your class that is 1,000 miles away from anybody, that's fine, as long as you have internet. Because you can Skype, you can talk on the phone, you can email, you can use Google Docs to write the paper so that you can see what your partners are writing as you're writing. But you must be able to communicate with each other online. So online class does not mean no communication. It means communicating online. So then you type in how you want to communicate or whatever. Then you hit post reply. And you might put in your contact information. That's up to you. You can contact each other through Canvas if you don't feel comfortable giving your contact information. If you do, like your email and your phone or whatever, you can do that too. I'm not telling you have to give each other contact information other than be able to contact via the inbox. If you go to inbox, you can contact anybody. Any questions about the project and getting a partner? I'm going to cancel because I'm not looking for a partner. I don't have to do this. I'm going to be reading yours and helping you. Any questions? Okay, so let me go back to the syllabus. There's not too much left to talk about on the syllabus. The projects, by the way, are long essays. We'll talk about that much later, though. So, and they're full research projects where you're going to be gathering data and analyzing. Okay, the Q&A forum I already showed you. If you want to give me feedback and you don't want for me to know who you are, that's fine. I have an anonymous feedback link, and you're welcome to use that, and then I can make my course better. My goal is to help you guys out as much as possible, so if you tell me how, I can help you out. The main thing on the netiquette guidelines is be polite to each other. Just because you never see them face-to-face doesn't mean they're not people. So treat them like nice people, because everyone's a nice person in this class. I have office hours. Okay, I got to get rid of this word eliminate. It should be Zoom virtual room. I have office hours. If you want to chat with me in this way, let me know and I'll make sure I logged in during my office hour. You can call me. You can walk in if you happen to be in Tahoe. Whatever, I will help you out. Okay. There is also free tutoring. So it says free online tutoring. If you click that, you can get free tutoring for this class, and it is 24/7, which is better than me. I actually sleep. The tutors don't sleep, I guess, or there's different tutors. So you're able to get tutors anytime you need, okay, and recommend it, get help. So these are my office hours. You must have a calculator for this class. So you must have either a TI-83, 84 plus, TI-89. You can have an NSpire. There's a few others, but it needs to be a statistics kind of a higher end calculator. If you live in Tahoe, You can come to our library, but you better hurry. You better do it soon because we only have so many. And you can check it out for the entire quarter for free. Okay, I made sure that happened. So go ahead, check out a calculator. You only need it for the tests. You can use spreadsheets for other things, but you have to have a calculator for the tests. So if you need to borrow one from someone, you have to know how to use it, of course, because otherwise, what's the point? And use it on the test. If you have a learning disability, then here's a link to our Disability Resource Center. You can also email them, you can call them, and whatever accommodation, or if you have a physical disability, whatever accommodation is required, we'll make sure it happens for you. Tutoring, again, we have the free tutoring. Also, if you're in Tahoe, you can come to our tutoring center and get help. Here's some, if you need help with Canvas, you can click on those. And that's about it for the syllabus. Any questions on the syllabus before I go into the kind of the to-do stuff? Okay, the modules is going to be your #1 go-to place for this class. I have organized it. Let me, I have organized it by week, except for here, there's this course information. This has all the stuff I just talked about, all the different things we were looking at. If you go to week 1, that's where we are right now, then the way I organize this class is the first part is, the very first one is that little like couple-minute YouTube video. If you click on it, it's 3 minutes. Introduction to the class, basically. Again, feel free to ask questions. And then I have information about the webinars. There will be a webinar on Tuesday on chapter 1 and 2. This is the webinar that if you can't make it, you can watch on YouTube and there's no penalty. You don't have to write 5 pages of notes. Okay, so there are webinars to go to. When you're done with the webinar, well, I think I'll show you that in a bit. So there's content. So all the things I showed you, full-length videos, I've chunked it into pieces, so this week's full-length video is an easy one to link to. Same thing with the short videos for this week. Then I have PowerPoints that go with the videos, and that's all the content. Then the assignment. So let's start with the first assignment, and this is a discussion assignment. And this is a fun one. So this one's a little different than the rest of them. It says, please introduce yourself by stating 2 truthful facts about yourself and 1 thing that is not truthful. You'll see if the other students can guess which are truthful and what are not truthful. Okay, then respond to at least one of the students' list to see if you can figure out which are truthful and which are not truthful. Okay, actually, at least others should be, if you can respond to a bunch, that's even better. Everyone's happier if 4 people respond. Otherwise, they feel lonely. So respond to a bunch of students. You can respond to me too. Make me happy. Finally, after someone has responded to your list, comment on whether the student was correct, and then write about how you plan on using statistics in your future coursework or career. Please post by Thursday. Give enough time to respond. So I'm going to do it so you see what it looks like. I'm going to hit reply, and then I'm going to go. Actually, here are my 3 facts. I'm going to put it in quotes. See if you can guess which are truthful. And then I'll do number 1. In fact, I might as well go 1, 2, 3. You can, there's all kinds of nice things you can click on that. All right, so the first one. So I personally took out the communication system of the space shuttle, causing it to have to stay in orbit for an extra day. Okay, number 2. Okay, the homework system that you are using for this class was built by me and my team and is now used by over 1,000 classes, saving students a total of over $1 million. Number 3, since my favorite summer activity is hiking, I climbed Mount Everest this summer. Okay, I hit post reply. And there it is. I strongly recommend after hitting post reply, make sure you look to make sure it actually posted. And there it is, it posted. Okay, so then I'm going to let you do this and maybe do this today. See if you can guess which one of these is not truthful. 2 of them are truthful. And I'm not going to tell you until the end of the, till next week. And then I'll tell you that one of these is not, and I'll tell you which one is not. You have to do the same thing. Any questions on that? And then you hit reply to me, which I'm not going to do because I'm not going to tell you which is truthful. And then you guess. And then I will hit reply to you after you've replied to talk about how I use statistics. I think it's obvious how I use statistics since I teach it, but how you're going to use statistics in your life. Any questions about what that looks like? Okay, let me show you the next thing. The next assignment piece is another, this is the 1 week where we have 2 of them because the first one's just fun. Hopefully you agree that was fun. The second one is more serious. So this one, you have to find an article or online course video that discusses a study that was done that uses one of the sampling techniques that we have discussed in this class. Now we'll be, that's this week, that's chapter 1, by the way. So you're gonna need to read chapter 1 or watch the video on chapter 1, go to the webinar on chapter 1, and then you'll be ready to do this particular one. You're going to want to search online for a journal article, news article, or course video. One resource for the course video is here, and if you click that, you'll get a bunch of videos. If you want to go to news articles, I hope you know how to do Google or whatever you like to do to search. You can also go to our library for journal articles, and then you can look at lots of journal articles. I'll show you that Tuesday. Then post a link to, just a link to the article. Don't talk about your link other than maybe where to find the information. Okay, then find a link from a student's post that has not already been analyzed by one of your classmates and reply to that student's post by discussing the sampling technique that was done in the study. Comment on whether the technique produced a representative sample. Identify, again, stuff I haven't talked about that you haven't heard yet, but you will this week. Then what I always do is I give you a model. So what I did, I posted this morning because I like to do a new one. Here's a study that tells us that almost half of us cry at work. I'm not one of those half. I don't cry at work, but some people might. Okay, and I posted the link. Just to note, you're going to copy and paste a link in. After copying and paste a link, hit the space bar, and then it'll automatically make it an active link. So just one space after that will make it an active link. So that's just something you'll get used to. It makes it easier on your classmates to be able to click on a link. Otherwise, they have to copy and paste the link instead of clicking. Okay, then I say you can find the survey technique by clicking on a 2018 Accountemps survey. That helps your fellow classmates be able to find out where the pertinent information is. So help them a little bit. Don't answer your own question like I just did. I do this so that I can show you what an answer might look like. Make sure that you let your classmates analyze your article. Don't analyze your own article. Then I say the author states, and I quote the part of the article that talks about what's pertinent. So the surveys were developed by accountants and conducted by independent research firms. They include responses from more than 1,000 U.S. workers aged 18 and older who work in an office environment, and more than 2,200 CFOs from a stratified random sample of companies in more than 20 of the largest U.S. metropolitan areas. Then I go and I analyze the article. So as is written, they use stratified random sampling, although I doubt the survey was completely random, since such a survey is prone to voluntary response bias. Also, there is no obtainable list of all American office workers, so the randomization is impossible. So notice I'm giving a critique on what they wrote. The article did not state the strata that was used, so I cannot comment on it. I believe that the actual percent of workers who cry at work is probably higher than the author cited, since more respondents are likely to hide the fact that they cry than state that they cry at work when they don't. Ensuring that the survey is anonymous would help prevent some of this bias. So again, I try and give you a sample of what an answer might look like to help you out. And I'll do that on all of the assignments. Any questions? Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and go back to the modules. I think we have one or two more things. They're quick. Okay, so the next thing in week 1 is the secret word quiz. Okay, this you'll not be able to answer right now. But what it says, you won't see this. You'll see where it's, when I say preview, then you'll see it. It'll say, what was the secret word for the week 1 webinar? Well, the week 1 webinar is on Tuesday, so obviously you don't know how to answer this yet. And then you type in the secret word, and you get it. You either get 100% or 0% on this. It's not a thinking thing. If you watch the webinar, it's clear. If you watch the whole webinar, it'll be very clear what the secret word is, but you have to watch the whole webinar. Okay, and if you participate, just write it down while you're participating. Okay, and then you type it in here. And then you have to make sure you hit submit quiz. If you don't, then it doesn't do it. So that's the secret word quiz. Then the very last thing, since I have about 30 seconds, was my promise, was if you look at either of these are the assignments. I'll just use the second one, but it doesn't matter. Let's continue. There we go. This is what your assignment looks like. So there's going to be, this particular chapter has 11. There's 2 chapters this week. And you have to answer the questions. So it says data was collected for a sample of organic snacks. Amount of sugar in each snack is summarized in the histogram below. Which statement best describes the meaning of one of the bars in the histogram? So 166 snacks are between 164 and 128. 3 snacks have about 166. 166 snacks have 3 milligrams of sugar. The largest number of snacks have 12 milligrams of sugar. If you said this one, for example, and you did, you won't see show answer, by the way. That's for me because I'm the instructor. Then it's wrong. You will be able to try it again. You go try another similar question. Okay, this is going to be similar but not exactly the same. Notice the numbers are different. You could try it again. It will only record your highest score on each problem. So that's why you should be able to get at least 90% on each of these homework assignments. So that's what these assignments look like. There we go. And that's pretty much it. The rest of the weeks are, week by week, more stuff to do. So that's all I have to say. Let me double check to make sure I got everyone who's here. We got Letitia, Tina, Kylie Gayton. Did I get Kylie? I want to make sure I got you all. It's been an hour and I've been busy talking to y'all, so it doesn't mean I remember everything I did. Kylie Gayton. Yeah, I got Kylie. Good. And then Armando, I remember I got Guadalupe. I don't think I got you, Guadalupe. In fact, let me stop the recording so then I can pick it up and you can talk and stuff and not feel weird about it, which means it won't be on YouTube anymore. Let me go to, not in meeting, but stop recording. Yes, you will receive an email notification from Cloud Ready. Yes.